Our top story tonight centers on a distressing incident in Georgetown where an electrician is fighting for his life after being shot 12 times in what appears to be a targeted attack. We'll bring you the latest on his condition and the police efforts to apprehend those responsible. Turning to education sector, the Guyana Teachers Union has made it clear that their strike action, now entering its second week, will continue until their demands for better pay and conditions are met. We'll examine the implications of this standoff for Guyana's education system and the possible outcome of this escalating dispute. On the criminal justice front, the Nigerian national involved in the infamous attack at State House has been sentenced to 3 months in prison, followed by 3 years of probation. The tourism industry in Rupununi Region 9 is set for expansion with the introduction of 2 new experimental tours. We'll explore what these offerings mean for tourism in Guyana and the potential benefits for local communities. Lastly, in regional news, a prominent Venezuelan dissident and her family have gone missing after being detained by security forces, sparking concerns among opposition members and human rights organizations worldwide. Stay with us for these stories, in-depth analysis, and more. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for February 14, 2024. I am Libby Backus. Thank you for joining us. First up, Winston Hazel, a 36-year-old electrician residing in Tocqueville, Georgetown, is in critical condition after sustaining 12 gunshot wounds in an attack outside his residence on Tuesday night. Reports said that just after 7 p.m., Winston Hazel was driving his motorcar PRR 3310 home from Durban Street Lodge when he fell victim to an ambush. 2 assailants on an XR motorcycle, armed with handguns and wearing hoodies, launched a sudden brutal attack, firing a hail of bullets at Hazel as he arrived at his residence. The onslaught left him wounded in the abdomen, thighs, and hands. Despite his injuries, Hazel managed to escape from his vehicle and seek refuge in his yard, desperately calling out to his wife for help. Nevertheless, the attackers continued firing before making good their escape. Law enforcement recovered 7 spent 9mm shells along with 1 live round, and CCTV footage was obtained as part of the ongoing investigation. Notably, Hazel has a prior history with law enforcement. In March 2022, he was arrested alongside another individual, Devon Simon, by agents of the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit. The duo was apprehended in possession of 12.8 pounds of cocaine valued at $6.5 million during an operation in Skyhawk Park, Tocqueville area. Both men were subsequently charged and remanded to prison. The authorities have intensified their efforts to locate the suspects behind the recent shooting. Continuing our coverage of the ongoing teacher strike, the Guyana Teachers Union is taking a firm stance on the issue of teacher salaries, declaring that it will only be business as usual in the education sector once their demands are met. GTU President Mark Light emphasized that the union is prepared for a prolonged struggle and urged teachers not to be intimidated by the government's tactics, including threats of salary deductions for those participating in strikes. Despite assurance from Vice President Bharat Jagdeo that teachers would not face victimization, the Ministry of Education and Local Government and Regional Development announced plans for salary deductions for striking teachers. Light condemned those actions, stating that they violated teachers' constitutional rights and promised to fight against them, even considering legal action. He assured teachers that the union is fully committed to advocating for their rights and defending them against governmental measures. Light is calling on the government to seek an amicable resolution to the dispute and criticize the lack of response from the Ministry of Education to the union's inquiries. Meanwhile, Attorney General Anil Nandalal has reaffirmed the government's stance on deducting salaries from teachers engaged in the ongoing strike, stating that the government is prepared to defend its decision in court if legally challenged. Nandalal emphasized that the strike was deemed illegal as negotiations between the union and the Education Ministry were still underway regarding proposed salary increases. He highlighted provisions in Guyana's constitution that allows employers to take necessary actions, such as withholding pay in response to unauthorized strikes. The notice of intent to deduct salaries was issued after teachers failed to report for duty without permission, with deductions slated to appear in their March 2024 salaries. Additionally, Teachers absent for more than 3 days could face dismissal upon recommendations to the Teaching Service Commission. The ongoing protest, initiated by the GTU on February 5, 2024, on its 8th day has gained momentum, with Light affirming the union's unwavering support for its members, regardless of the pressure they face. In other news, Bethel Chimezie, the Nigerian national responsible for the attack at State House in Georgetown on December 15, 2022, has been sentenced to 3 months imprisonment and 3 years of supervised probation. Chimezie was apprehended by Assistant Superintendent Rodwell Sarabu on January 16, 2023, for discharging a loaded firearm with intent targeting Quincy Cummins at State House on Carmichael Street, Georgetown. Charged on January 19, 2023, Chimezie appeared before Chief Magistrate Ann McLennan, where he did not enter a plea and was denied bail. However, yesterday, Chimezie pleaded guilty before Magistrate Leron Daly at the Georgetown Magistrates Court and received the sentence of 3 months imprisonment along with the 3 years of probation supervision. The court considered the maximum sentencing guidelines of 15 months, taking into account Chimezie's time spent on remand. Chimezie has additional pending matters before the court. Stick around when we return. Expanding Horizons. Rupununi welcomes 2 exciting new experimental tours, and Canopy Village celebrates $11 million water supply system.
Come celebrate 1770 with us. It's our birthday. Yeah, celebrate 1770 with us. Yeah. It's our 17th anniversary, and we're celebrating in style by giving away $17 million in 17 days. Top up with $1,000 or more for a chance to be one of 17 lucky winners of $1 million. Don't miss your chance. Top up today. Digicel, 17 years of bringing you the best. Come celebrate 1770 with us. It's our birthday.
Good girl, forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown, telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. The tourism sector in Rupununi Region 9 is expanding with the launch of 2 new experimental tours. The Explore Let Him Tour, a collaboration between Rupununi Adventures and Taros Choices and Tours, offers immersive experience such as guided tours to Matapi Falls, paddle boarding, and kayaking. On the other hand, Bush Cow Eco Trails introduces the indigenous exploration, Kanuku and Rupununi trekking, and river adventure tours, promising guests an unforgettable blend of nature and culture amidst the Kanuku Mountains. Director of the Guyana Tourism Authority, Kamrul Bash, commended the operators for responding to the market's needs and creating appealing products. He highlighted the exemplary efforts of Guy Fredericks of Bush Cow Eco Trails in retrofitting tours based on guest feedback. Bash also praised the collaboration between Rupununi Adventures and Tara's Choices and Tours, noting its timeliness, especially with the upcoming Rupununi Rodeo. Bash emphasized the industry's momentum with many new tours developed in recent years. He encouraged operators to maintain high standards and enroll in safety training programs to ensure tour quality and guest safety. Overall, the launch of these new tours reflects a concerted effort to enhance the tourism experience in the Rupununi region and promote Guyana's rich natural and cultural heritage. Moving on, the residents of Canopy Village Region 2 recently welcomed an $11 million water system. Approximately 550 residents now enjoy improved access to drinking water thanks to the commissioning of the new water supply system. The project involved a collaboration between GWI, the Village Council, and an in-house drilling team. The project's key components included installing a distribution network, standpipes, solar panels, a perimeter fence, a submersible pump, and reinforced concrete bases for water tanks. During brief remarks at the commissioning ceremony, Minister Susan Rodriguez highlighted Guyana's goal to increase treated water coverage to 90% on the coast and 100% in hinterland regions by 2025. She emphasized equitable development across all regions, including infrastructure such as hospitals, stadiums, and housing developments in Region 2. The government plans to invest in similar water projects in other communities under the 2024 budget. Don't go away after the break. Foreign aid bill. Senate passes $95 billion package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. And Indian police fire tear gas as protesting farmers march on Delhi.
Come celebrate 1770 with us. It's our 17th anniversary and we are celebrating with up to 40% discount on handsets. Get the Samsung A05 for just $16,000 or go for the Samsung A15 for just $29,000 or the Samsung A245 for just $35,000. But wait, there's more. You also get 1 month free data plan with any handset purchase. Limited time offer. Hurry to a Digicel store today. 17 years of bringing you the best. 1770 with us.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Current smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. A prominent Venezuelan dissident and members of her family have been missing since Friday after being detained by security forces. It has raised alarm among members of the opposition and human rights organizations worldwide. Al Jazeera's Latin American editor Lucy Newman reports.
The whereabouts of prominent Venezuelan human rights and military affairs analyst Rocio San Miguel remain unknown. San Miguel was detained at the airport on Friday as she prepared to travel to Miami.
We've gone to the agencies that are allegedly holding her in custody, and they told us she's not there. It's worth noting that the prosecutor said she is detained without informing us who detained her. Because so much time has passed, we believe that this is a clear case of forced disappearance.
San Miguel's ex-husband, daughter, and 3 other members of the family were also detained. In a statement, the prosecutor general said San Miguel had been taken into custody because of her presumed role in a conspiracy to assassinate President Nicolás Maduro, called White Bracelet. But no evidence has been provided. San Miguel's lawyer and Amnesty International say the charges are unfounded and ridiculous.
I think this is a dire warning for those of us who have resolved to defend the human rights of people who are imprisoned or persecuted for political reasons, and also for those who document human rights violations in Venezuela.
San Miguel, a dual Venezuelan-Spanish citizen, has long been an outspoken critic of the government, focusing on sensitive military issues.
Any member of the military who states an opinion against the established line is not only rejected, but can end up in prison or deprived of freedom.
This latest detention of activists and even family members comes as Maduro faces a new wave of criticism for again barring his most competitive opponents for running in national elections scheduled for later this year. The White House has also weighed in on San Miguel's detention.
We're deeply concerned about that. This is a time when, as I have said before, Mr. Maduro needs to meet the commitments that he made back in the fall about how they're going to treat civil society, political activists, as well as opposition parties, and even those members of Venezuelan society that may want to run for office.
While accusations of alleged assassination plots against the president aren't new, opponents point out that they seem to emerge more frequently when there is an election. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera.
Internationally, the U.S. Senate has passed a $95 billion aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, which has been stalled for months. It still needs approval in the Republican-led House of Representatives. Its speaker vows to block the bill. Al Jazeera's Rosalind Jordan reports.
No sleep for the U.S. Senate, intent on providing military aid to Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan.
On this vote, the yeas are 70, the nays are 29. The bill, as amended, passes.
On Tuesday, 22 Republicans joined most Democrats to approve a $95 billion package to help these countries defend themselves. President Joe Biden said voting for the bill is an act of courage and called on Republicans in the House to do the same.
You got to decide. Are you going to stand up for freedom? Or are you going to side with terror and tyranny? You're going to stand with Ukraine? You're going to stand with Putin? We stand with America or with Trump.
A point echoed by the Senate Majority Leader.
If the hard right kills this bill, it would be an enormous gift to Vladimir Putin. It would be a betrayal of our partners and allies and an abandonment of our service members.
The Ukrainian president asked the House of Representatives to do what he calls the right thing.
Putin has never intended to limit himself to Ukraine alone. His goals are far broader. Hence, solidarity and defense must be even broader.
Ms. Green for 5 minutes.
But some House Republicans say the U.S. can't afford this military aid package.
This institution has lost its way. $34 trillion in debt. And the only thing that we're to talk about is to continue funding a war in Ukraine and to fund a war in Israel.
House Speaker Mike Johnson opposes the Senate bill and says he won't bring it to the floor as is. But Democrats say they'll be looking for ways to get around Johnson for the sake of the U.S.'s allies. Rosalind Jordan, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Finally, police in India have fired tear gas at protesting farmers marching to the capital, New Delhi. The farmers are demanding a minimum crop price after talks with the government failed. Al Jazeera's Ibtisam Gofang reports.
Cornered and tear-gassed. Thousands of farmers are trying to march on New Delhi. They say the government didn't agree to their demand for a guaranteed minimum price for their produce. With tractors and in their numbers, they're calling for protection of the livelihoods of more than half of India's working population. Farmers' unions engaged in talks with ministers say they have nothing to offer them.
The government has gone back on its promises. We are asking for farm loan waivers and a minimum guaranteed price for our crop. That's why we are going back to the capital, New Delhi.
Fearing unrest, police have banned large gatherings in the city and blocked sections of major routes leading to the capital. Mobile networks have also been suspended. The dispute dates back to 2020, when the government introduced a series of laws aimed at overhauling the agriculture industry by cutting out the middleman, scrapping the minimum price for produce, and giving individual farmers greater freedoms. But they were widely rejected. Farmers argued large corporations would dominate the market and individual sellers would end up getting less for their crops. Daily demonstrations became a year-long standoff with hundreds of thousands taking part in the protests. Finally, in 2021, Prime Minister Narendra Modi repealed the laws. Despite pledges by Modi to double their income, farmers' revenues have shrunk.
After the laws were withdrawn in 2021, the demands were not met, so they are back with those demands. They are demanding something as simple as a simple guarantee, which is MSP, which is minimum support price at which the government buys their crops, which means they are asking for just an assured income for themselves, a kind of a safety net.
Union representatives are asking for loan waivers for small-scale farmers and a minimum wage for workers. Police arrested several protesters about 100 kilometers from the capital. Authorities say more talks with union leaders are needed. With national elections due in 2 months, farmers could tip the scales. And a potential third term for Prime Minister Modi is hanging in the balance. Ibtisam Genfud, Al Jazeera.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's it, TV2 Headline News for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other.